Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening in the world. I first off want to thank Centrifuge for bringing us this far in the process. Now, before I get started today, I want to take you all back into time. Think back to when you got your first credit card. Now, think back to some of the first purchases you made. Now, think back to when you saw your credit score for the first time. If you're like me, you have no idea how that score came to be. Hello, my name's Evan Leapart, founder and CEO of Kredit. So, what's the problem? Well, 2/3 of Americans can't pass a basic financial literacy test for starters, and 4 out of 10 adults don't even understand how this credit score came to be. So it got us to thinking. We wanted to make a solution that focuses specifically on teaching about credit before it's an issue. Credit, when leveraged properly, can be used as a tool to generate wealth, and increasing credit knowledge across all income levels has the ability to level the playing field, taking steps towards economic equality for those historically disadvantaged. So our thinking is that if we can improve the credit scores of citizens before they have access to it, we can improve numbers on home ownership and entrepreneurship. So, cute idea, but how do you do it? The way our product works is simple. An admin assigns chores or activities for the child to complete. After completing them weekly, they'll be issued a credit score based off of performance, which will determine how many rewards they get, which can be used to redeem items monetary or non-monetary, depending on the parent. And what is this credit score, you ask? It's simple. We created an algorithm that parallels traditional FICO models. So think of a missed chore like a missed payment. The longer you've had a chore, like the longer you've had a credit card. And anytime a child says, hey, mom, can I get this? Hey, dad, can I get this? Think of it like an inquiry. As for myself, I'm a professional mentor to youth, co-founder of the Black Men Talk Tech Conference. And as a serial entrepreneur, I believe entrepreneurship is the key to economic equality. And to increase access to capital for all, we must increase credit scores. Mike Gross, our head of education and COO, has taught financial literacy and entrepreneurship to inner city youth for over 15 years. Our CTO, Vic Moreno, was previously a lead engineer at AWS, senior engineer at Noom with a master's of science in finance. So not only does he code at a high level, but he also codes with a financial brain. Wish I had more time because I'd go through all the remaining team members. I assure you they're equally impressive. Since the launch of our public beta, we've had over 65,000 chores completed in the app, and we're approaching over 20,000 total users in the app, which amounts to about over 6,000 families. We've been featured in outlets like CNBC, Bankrate, Now This, and we're called the financial literacy app teaching kids about credit by Forbes. So what separates us in this financial literacy for kids space? Well, partnering with Equifax has been huge for us. It's validated us as a thought leader in effectively teaching credit to youth. We want to be focused on credit. And with that stated, we've built over 100 hours of educational content in the app that's going to be catered towards the preteen audience. So Equifax was a key partnership for us. Not only do we have them, we're also working with the YMCA, and we've also secured an MOU with a very large buy now, pay later company, which we're pretty excited about. Just can't say it here. Now, I know you guys are thinking, yeah, that's cool and all, but how does this make money? Our business model is B2B2C, as we work with organizations and municipalities looking to provide additional resources to their intended audience at a rate of $50 per year per family unit. We've decided B2B2C instead of B2C because, for one, we feel having organizational support can help around engagement and also eliminates having to monetize from the audience that needs this product the most, but doesn't need to pay monthly for an additional service. So what we're trying to do here is give kids a head start. Right? What we do is we give these organizations the ability to add activities to the family unit. So instead of it saying Evan clean room, Evan make bed, it can also be Evan ask mom to sign permission slip. Or on a credit union or community bank side, it could be rewards, could be $50 to open a savings account. We just want to get these organizations involved in the family conversations. And winning this pitch competition will really help us take our products to the next level, as the funds will be used for further development and improvement of UX. Thank you all for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Evan Lee.
All right, and we're back. Sorry for the quick audio difficulties there, but we have joining us live from Miami, Florida. We're thrilled to have Evan Leppart with us. So judges, I will let you take it away with questions for Evan.
Evan, great to see you, and thanks for coming in from the whole way from Miami. I'm really curious. This play is really to acquire the parents, right? But to your point, a lot of the parents didn't have education on financial services. They themselves were faced with that education gap, and perhaps don't know it's an education gap because a lot of people don't know what they don't know, right? So how do you educate the parents to get on the platform so that they in turn can educate their children?
It's a great question. We always say it can be a chore to get parents to track chores. So what we found is like our super parent, our super user tends to be that person that experienced some form of financial hardship previously. So from an acquisition standpoint, that's really where we target. So we look at companies that really offer products that are catered towards individuals that are trending upward or need that helping hand. So for example, I was explaining there, we're doing something with the buy now, pay later company, but they focus on products that people need, not necessarily buy now, pay later on a PS5, but a tire or, just something to help you get over the hump. And then we're targeting with financial institutions being a part of like their financial wellness platform. So people that are trying to get on the right track, they tend to take that proactive approach towards wanting to use our product. But also what we're doing too is we're trying to do things that educate them as well. So by simplifying it so that kids can understand it, we also in that process are trying to make it simple for parents to understand too. So it's like, okay, my kid didn't do his chore. That's like me not making my payment. The longer I've given my kid this particular chore, that's why I should actually have my card for a longer period of time. I shouldn't close my oldest account. So just trying to create these real world examples that are, simple and easy to understand.
Yeah, it's definitely meaningful what you're going after. I'm curious. So there was a landmark study that came out of Ideas 42 a couple years back that said of all the billions of dollars spent by people going after financial wellness and trying to help with that, it's made less than a couple basis point difference in outcomes. And in fact, the average person, the knowledge and skills degrade almost completely after 2 months after completing the work. How do you, so the families, the kids grow up, right? They grow out of chores. How do you keep that going through those real formative college years and things like that?
It's a great question. So for us, we wanted to start the conversation a little earlier, right? And center it around habits, right? Like there's things you can learn one lesson one time and then you kind of forget about it and it goes one ear out the other. But it's still the first step in the journey. So Kitty Credit's really addressing kind of that preteen audience. And then what we're trying to do is work on a product for teens and up where we can essentially issue our own financial products using an education-based approval process. Everything that we're trying to do here is really level the playing field. So if you look at a lot of the decision-making now around credit, it's based off of either previous credit scores or financial history, which can still exhibit some sort of bias. So we're just in every step of the way trying to focus on the educational component, and we really want to get to a space to where you can learn to earn, right? Like you need a law degree before you can be a lawyer. Why not actually demonstrate you understand credit before you have access to it? So I don't think there's really a moment where that education dries out. We want to continually reinforce it at every step of the process. We just want to start that conversation around credit earlier because it typically happens too late.
We'll do one more question quickly.
Quickly, maybe tell us how you're going to work with the parents to devise what goes into this app and how they use it, because they're going to need to be led. And I don't know whether you're going to have online chat or what are you going to do to help people, because it seems to me that you're creating something that's going to be flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that we did is we took a look at some of our early users and figured out like what chores did they typically add, what rewards did they typically add, and it significantly improved our onboarding process. In that process, we do want to do a lot more hand-holding, especially with the B2B2C approach. So one thing I was explaining, we work with organizations and municipalities looking for unique ways to engage with their audience, and we give them the ability to add activities or rewards, things that will ultimately be more engaging with their audience. So in that process, that's where we'll kind of figure out what needs to go in there for it to be a meaningful experience for the parent, the child, and also the organization that's paying for them to get that experience.
Fantastic. Evan, thank you for the time. We appreciate you making the trip here by way of Money 2020, so even longer than it had to be. We're thrilled to have you here in town. Thank you for bringing Kitty Credit to the pitch competition.